Imagine two people in the same meeting, same idea, same room, same audience. Person one says, I think maybe we should consider looking at the timeline again. Sorry, I just feel like it might be too aggressive. I'm not sure though. And person two says, I recommend we revisit the timeline. Based on the current velocity data, the deadline creates a quality risk we should address now. Same idea, same meeting, completely different impact. One sounds like an observer, the other one sounds like a leader. And here is the thing that nobody tells you. The difference is not confidence, it is not personality, it is not experience as well. It is five phrases. That is it. Five phrases you are using in meetings right now that are silently destroying your leadership credibility. And today, I am going to replace every single one of them. Hi, I am Vijay Srinivasan with over 30 years of IT experience and currently an ICF PCC certified coach. I have sat in thousands of meetings and I can tell you the people who get promoted are not always the smartest. They are the ones who sound like leaders when they open their mouth. Let us fix your five phrases starting right now. Phrase number one, I think maybe we should. This is the most common phrase I hear from IT professionals in meetings. I think maybe we should consider. And it sounds harmless. But let me tell you what it communicates to the people in the room. And when you say, I think, you are signaling uncertainty. When you add maybe, you are giving everyone else the permission to ignore you. When you say we should consider, you are deferring the decision to someone else. In one sentence, you have told the room, I have an idea, but I'm not committed to it. I'm not sure it is right, and someone else should decide. Now compare that to the leader version. I recommend we revisit the timeline. The current velocity data shows a quality risk. What changed? Three things. First, I recommend. It is a commitment. You are putting your name on it. Second, you removed all hedging words. No maybe, no I think, no consider. Third, you gave a reason. The velocity data shows. Now your recommendation has evidence behind it. Here is a quick rule. Before you speak in any meeting, ask yourself, am I making a recommendation or am I thinking loud? If you are thinking loud, you are not leading, you are processing, and meetings are not the place to process. Meetings are the place to lead. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, what if I'm wrong? What if my recommendation is bad? Well, that's a good question. And here is my answer to that. Leaders are not people who are always right. Leaders are people who take position and they own it. A wrong recommendation that sparks a better conversation is worth 10 times more than silence. Second phrase, sorry, can I just add? This one is epidemic in Indian IT culture. And I say that with love because I did it for years. Sorry, can I just add something? You are apologizing for having a contribution. You are asking permission to speak and you are minimizing what you are about to say with the word just. Let me be direct. If you are in the meeting, you have the right to speak. You do not need permission. You do not need to apologize. And you definitely do not need to minimize your contribution before you have even made it. The leader version is, I want to build on that. Priya's point about the client's deadline connects to something I have been seeing in the data. Look what happened. You acknowledged the previous speaker. You connected your idea to theirs and you position yourself as someone who is adding strategic value, not interrupting. The phrase, I want to build on that, is one of the most powerful things you can say in a meeting. It makes the previous speaker feel heard. It makes you sound collaborative and it gives you the floor without apology. Here is my challenge to you. For the next 2 weeks, every time you feel the urge to say sorry in a meeting, catch yourself. Replace it with I want to build on that and see what happens. I promise you, people will start listening to you differently. Phrase number three. Does that make sense? You just finished explaining something. Maybe it was a technical architecture decision or a project risk assessment. And then you end it up with, does that make sense? I know you mean well. You are trying to be inclusive, but here is what it communicates. I am not sure I explained this clearly, so I need you to validate that I was coherent. Think about the leaders you admire. Have you ever heard a CEO give a boardroom presentation and end with, does that make sense? No, right? They end with clarity, they end with direction. So try this instead. Here is the takeaway. If we do not address the latency issue now, it will cost us 3 sprints in quarter 3. I recommend we prioritize it this week. You did not ask for validation, you gave direction. You told the room what matters and what to do about it. That is how leaders close. If you genuinely want to check your understanding, here is a better phrase. What questions do you have for me? This is not the same as does that make sense? What questions do you have assumes you were clear and invites engagement. Does that make sense assumes you might not have been. Phrase number 4. I'm not sure but. I'm not sure, but I think the migration path should go through the staging environment first. Let me ask you something. If you have 10 years of experience in IT and you have an informed perspective on a migration path, why are you opening with I am not sure? I'll tell you why. Because somewhere in your career, you were taught that certainty is arrogance, that the smart thing to do is hedge, that if you state something confidently and you are wrong, you will look foolish. That is a belief, not a fact. And it is a belief that is costing you promotions. The leader version sounds like this. Based on my experience with similar migrations, I recommend routing through the staging environment first. It gives us a safety net without adding more than a day to the timeline. Based on my experience, does something magical. It tells the room, I am not guessing. I have done this before. My perspective is grounded in real world knowledge. It is not arrogant, it is authoritative. And there is a difference. Here is the formula. When you have a domain expertise and after 7, 10, or 15 years in IT that you do, you lead with it. You do not bury it with false humility. False humility does not make you likable, it makes you forgettable. And forgettable people do not get promoted. Phrase number 5. I just wanted to say. I just wanted to say that the client feedback has been really positive. The word just is the smallest word with the biggest damage. When you say, I just wanted to say, you are pre apologizing for taking up space. You are telling the room, this might not be important enough, but here goes. Now listen to the leader version of this. What I want us to consider is the pattern in the client feedback. 3 of the last 4 reviews have flagged response time. This needs to be on our sprint priority list. What happened? You turned a casual observation into a strategic directive. You gave it weight. You gave it what to do next. And you used the phrase, what I want us to consider, which frames you as someone who is guiding the team's thinking, not just commenting from the sidelines. Here is the shift. Commentators say, I just wanted to say. Leaders say, what I want us to consider. One is forgettable, the other sets the agenda. Now, I want you to go one level deeper because these five phrases are just symptoms. They are not the disease. The disease is a belief that most of the IT professionals carry without ever realizing it. The belief that sounding smart is more important than sounding like a leader. In technical culture, we are trained to be precise, to hedge, to qualify, show that we have considered all possibilities. And that is great for writing code, but it is terrible for leading people. Leaders do not qualify everything. Leaders take a position, they simplify, they direct. And yes, sometimes they are wrong. But being wrong and decisive is more respected than being right and invisible. The shift you need to make is not about vocabulary, it is about identity. Stop seeing yourself as the smartest person in the room and start seeing yourself as the person who moves the room forward. Let me give you the quick recap. 5 swaps. Print this, stick it next to your laptop, use it in your very next meeting. Swap number 1. Replace I think maybe we should with I recommend. Swap 2. Replace sorry, can I just add with I want to build on that. Swap 3. Replace does that make sense with here is the key takeaway. Swap 4. Replace I am not sure but with based on my experience. And swap 5. Replace I just wanted to say with what I want us to consider. Now, here is what I need from you. Drop a comment and tell me which of these 5 phrases do you catch yourself using the most? Be honest. I used to say, does that make sense? At the end of every single explanation. So, no judgment, just awareness. If this was helpful, send it to someone on your team who needs to hear it. Sometimes the biggest gift you can give a colleague is the awareness that one small change in how they speak can change how the entire room sees them. Subscribe if you have not already. Every week, I break down exactly how IT professionals can stop being invisible and start leading. You do not need a new title to sound like a leader. You need new words, and now you have them. Go and use them. I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.